Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by AlCircle. Before I start the webinar, let me all introduce to our global virtual aluminium ecosystem, AlCircle, which connects the entire value chain, starting from bauxite and alumina to primary metal, downstream products, and recycling. The ecosystem has three platforms which consists of AlNews, AlBiz, and AlLearn. A short introduction about these three platforms goes AlNews is our heart of information related to the aluminium products. It covers the entire value chain. The features are like latest industry news, custom reports and market intelligence, exclusive interviews and magazines, price details, expert blogs, and other pieces. Albiz is our online B2B marketplace where we connect the aluminium buyers and sellers. It is your go-to supply chain ecosystem to reach the target leads and unlock your potential growth. And our latest initiative is AlLearn, which is an online knowledge repository for aluminium. Our today's webinar, Global Industry Outlook, Reflect, Refresh, and Reveal. The webinar is divided into two segments. Segment 1 consists of the upstream, which consists bauxite, alumina, and primary aluminium. Segment 2 is downstream, which talks about extruded, rolled, cast, and recycled aluminium, which is supposedly scheduled on 12th of December. Our speaker for today's webinar is Mr. Rupankar Mujumdar, the Market Intelligence Lead of AlCircle. Before I start the session, let me just talk about the few ground rules that we have set. We will take all the questions at the end of the webinar. All the attendees are to mute their systems during the presentation. If someone wants to talk, they need to raise their hand, unmute themselves, and then ask the speaker about any question that you have. If attendees have any questions during the presentation, they can share them on the chat. We will address them during the Q&A session that we will be holding at the end of the webinar. And it will be great if attendees switch on their videos while they interact with the speaker. And any kind of promotional activities during the session will not be entertained. So hereby, I end my introduction and over to you, Rupankar.
Thank you, Prerna. I would like to start the presentation. So, hello and my warm welcome to everybody who has joined today with us here in this session. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all from all the parts of the world. So, while I start with the session, I would like to bring that we will be starting with the market lens, where I will be taking you through the roadmap of the session, where we have actually made up on the four broad segments, and under that we have the various chapters. So this will start with where the economy meets aluminium, then we will go to the bauxite overview, then we will go to the alumina overview, then we will go to the primary aluminium, and then we will have the Q&A session. So let us start with the where the economy meets aluminium. As we all know that the global economic growth is projected to slow in 25 and 26. And it is down from it's a bit down from 2024. So if you can see from 2004 to 7, it was the percentage was around 4.4% growth. From 2011 to 19, it was 3%. And in 23 to 26, it is estimated for 2.7%. Although we had a negative growth in 2009 for the global financial crisis, and in 20 we had a 3% negative growth during the COVID period. However, it has been also been observed that the major economies are losing a bit of momentum as of now. For United States and for China, the economies are a bit slow. However, aluminium being a pro-growth metal and which has been aligned with some of the world GDPs for a growth. So the global consumption is set to rise from 101.6 million tons in 24, and we are expecting to reach 1.3.9 million in 25. And in 26, we are expecting it is to reach to 105 million tons. This consumption will be in the for primary and secondary inclusive. And the demand will be broadly based by the solar sector, the new energy vehicles, construction, infrastructure, and the growing data center developments. And assessing the growth across the global aluminum upstream segment. So when we see the global upstream segment, we consider the bauxite, we consider the alumina production, and we also consider the primary aluminum. So where we can see that in the bauxite, the bauxite remained at 400 and 445, 1 million tons, and in 25 it is around 451.3 million and expected to rise. So we are expecting to cross the 450 million benchmark. For alumina, we are expecting the smelter grade as well as the chemical grade, which was around 145.76 million tons in 24, is going to rise to 152.3 million to 152.6. And the primary aluminum was 72.7 million and is expected to rise to 73.9 million. So that's how the scenario looks like. And let us see how the more and in depth we can go through. Let us go to the bauxite part. Starting with the bauxite part. The bauxite outlook. So when we go to the bauxite outlook, we can see it's very clearly seen from uh, 2020 to 2025. If you see, there is a massive growth. The growth remain has been a bit. There was a big drop in 21. But after 21, we see in 22 there was a growth and it rose to 395 million tons. In 23, it went to another rise to 415 million. In 24, it rose to 441 million. And this year, we are expecting to rise 451.3 million tons. So let us have some regional, who are the major producers now? So who are the major producers? We can see very clearly Guinea has been the major producer for the last few years. It has taken up above Australia now. Australia has remained the number two at 101. China has remained at 88 million tons. Brazil at 33 million tons and Indonesia at 32 million tons. In 25, 26, we are expecting the top will be remaining like that. Maybe we are expecting Brazil and Indonesia might exchange and change their status. Otherwise, moreover, the bauxite production might remain at the country by the same. For Indonesia, the strategy behind bauxite export restriction. So Indonesia has restricted their bauxite export from June 2023, and it was majorly to boost their refining, their domestic alumina refining, and also to strategize their downstream aluminium industry. So they wanted to. It was a replica model which they have done earlier uh, for the nickel exports. So as you know, then in Indonesia, the West Kalimantan region has the 82% of their bauxite reserves. New Islands have the 13.30% of bauxite reserves, and the Central Kalimantan has 3.90 bauxite reserves. So Indonesia has been trying to ban their export of bauxite and been investing on their primary production and also in the alumina refining production. So India, now when we come to India, the state-wise production of bauxite in million tons. Until 2016, it has been seen India consumes 72 to 80% of the domestic bauxite and exporting the remainder. Now the scenario has changed with the rising domestic aluminium demand. Export declined from 1.7 million tons in 2017 to 0.1 million tons in 23, while exports more than doubled from 1.6 million tons to 3.8 million tons during the same period. And 95% of the all the import that India has done has came from Guinea. So Indian bauxite miners overview. So Vedanta, one of the India's leading aluminium producer, they have their mine in Sijimali. Now Vedanta, the Sijimali mine, which is strengthening their feedstock for the demand for alumina production. With a 12 million ton Sijimali bauxite enhances Vedanta's self-reliance, and it is strategically located in Odisha mineral-rich belt. So the mining capacity is 12 million tons from Sijimali, and Vedanta also has an 3 to 6 million ton from OMC, the Odisha Mining Corporation, and others. Then we come to Hindalco with five mines, and with the five mines they have 0.85 million tons, one with the 8.5 million tons, one with 0.6 million ton capacity, with one with the 0.96 million tons, and one with 3.19 million tons. And when we go to for Nalco's bauxite production capacity is around 7.65 million tons, and Odisha Mining Corporation has 3.65 million tons capacity per annum. So China, the world's leading producer of aluminium, now they also need a huge amount of bauxite. Now their growing dependency has been on the imported bauxite now due to the depleted quality of the bauxite in the domestic mine. So China's majorly has been importing bauxite from Guinea and Australia. So China in bauxite imports reached 103 million tons in H1 2025, and which signifies a 34% year-on-year growth. Guinea remained the top supplier, delivering 79.67 millions of China's total imports, which is up by 41.7% year-on-year. Australia supplied 16.48 million, that's a 15% share. So now we enter to the alumina overview. In the alumina overview, the global alumina outlook, we see in 23 the total of the smelter grade and the chemical grade alumina was produced at 142.72 million. In 24, it rose to 145.76, and we are expecting this year for 152.6. So this is a combined, and we also see that there is expected of 0.8 to 1 million tons of surplus to be remain in this year, and it is due to the new refineries that has been coming up with Indonesia, in India, and in China. Actually, in China, it is the expansion, the capacity is getting increased. So we can see that Indonesia has been focused on alumina refining. They have started a few productions, and of course, we will on the latter part of the presentation, we will also find the challenges for the Indonesia they are also facing. For India, all the three major producers of aluminium, Vedanta, Hindalco, and Nalco, all are trying to increase the capacity. Egyptalum and Alba have signed an MOU for alumina refinery with an investment of 3 billion. We can see that Vietnam is investing in alumina capacity. China's aluminum sector is expansion, and Europe. The only thing for Europe is for the aluminium of Greece, which they might increase their refinery to by the 2025 and 26, and it will be a refinery to 1.265 million tons. So Guinea, the world's largest producer of bauxite, is now also planning for 5 to 6 refineries by 2030, targeting a 7 million tons per annum by 2035. So global alumina market balance, as I have told, in 25 there will be a surplus. The production will be more than the demand, and in 26 we are expecting the surplus to widen more than 25. global alumina price analysis, when we look at the global alumina price analysis, we can see there is a price rise in 24, and in October 24, the price rose to 633 US dollars. And if you see the alumina FOB Australia price surged to 805 million tons in December 24. However, as of today, the alumina FOB Australia price has dropped down to 310 to 315. So the alumina price was actually up in 24, and again it has been down now, and there are various reasons for this down, and there is a various reason for the up. It was there in the last year, and it has been also been a fact that the speculations has also created some rise in the uh, price. However, there were some exceptional cases like uh, Brazil's Juruti port had a vessel issue. There was a problem with one of the bauxite miners company has been license has been revoked in Guinea. So there are few other reasons that has happened. But however, the alumina price has fallen down due to the huge amount of productions now. So China bauxite, alumina, primary aluminum demand, supply, and production analysis. So China, as I have told that, and you all know, it's the world largest producer. So China's bauxite production is has been a bit low from the previous few months, but but still it has been importing its thing. Its required bauxite. So despite a dip in October, China imported 157.3 million tons of bauxite from Jan to September. It's up 32% year on year. And we have said that Guinea is supplying 75%. Port inventories reached 27.36 million tons, indicating strong supply security. China's metallurgical grade alumina installed capacity is now 110.32 million tons annually. Presently, we are talking about the present with 90.66 million tons per year currently in operation. So production in October total at 7.78 million tons, increasing to 2.4 month on month and 6.8 year on year. And if you see the China primary versus the alumina primary production versus demand for alumina, the conversion ratio for China is 1 ton of primary metal is equal to 1.925 ton of alumina requirement. So we can see in the last few years, from if we take from 2020, it's the alumina production was 71 to primary production remained at 37. Then it was in 2021, the alumina production was at 73 million tons. Primary stood at 38. Then in 2022, it stood alumina production to at 77 million tons, and its primary stood at 40. In 23, it was 79 versus 41 million tons. In 24, it was 83 versus 43 million tons, and we are expecting that same 83 versus 43 million tons for alumina versus aluminium production in China. So India alumina production expansion. So as I have told, the Hindalco, Nalco, and Vedanta are the major producers, and they are expanding. But if I see their present capacity, that Hindalco is producing 3.26 with an installed capacity of 3.3 million tons. Nalco is producing 2.07 with a 2.12 capacity. Vedanta's capacity has recently increased, so but we cannot take that, but the production will be carried to the next year. So present the production is 1.97 million tons, and the Andrak, the Pioneer, they are producing, they are with a nameplate capacity of 1.5 million tons. They are producing only 400,000 tons of alumina. So smelter grade alumina production in India versus rest of the world shows only 7.7 million tons as of now, and the rest of the world shows 130 million tons. So Indonesia alumina production in million tons for forecast for the calendar year. So in 22 it was 3 million tons. In 23 it was 3.9 million tons. In 24 it remains the same 3.9. In 25, we are expecting 5 to 5.5 million. In 26, we are expecting 6.2 to 7. And we are also uh, expecting to rise to 7.2 to 7.5 in 27. As we have seen that there are also challenges for Indonesia. It is as they have some, they have been investing in the alumina refineries. Few are on the start. We have already started production. Few will be starting, and there are a few. I can say there are the six, seven, which are now in the stalled. And all the thing is that all the seven that has been stalled now, out of which one is only chemical grade, the only problem is the funding issue. They are seeking investors. So this is also a challenge the nation Indonesia is facing now for their alumina projects. Australia, the evolving dynamics in the alumina refining sector, the rising energy cost and the stricter environmental regulation has caused some problems in the Australian aluminium industry. Although additionally a low quality bauxite has in some regions has also been a cause. And despite this challenge, the government remains committed to decarbonize the aluminium sector. And also the Alcoa's Kiwana Alumina Refinery closure is another reason, which has been making some news headlines in these years for the from the Australian aluminium sector. So the Australia FOB average price projection, it has been, we are projecting that in 25, the average price for FOB is 386.51, and 2026 it will remain at 329.7, 27 it will be 327.50. In 28, we might see again a bit of rise to 337. In 29, we can forecast 348.3, and in 2030, we are expecting 356.8. And we are expecting this rise from 28 to 30 because of the several new smelters that are expected to be operational by that time. So that is Australia alumina FOB average price projection. So China's imported alumina prices from the Australia. So when China is importing when China is importing imported alumina prices, so it shows that the Australia alumina FOB price monthly average. So it has been shown that uh, it has been in January 636, in February 513, in March it remained at the higher price remained at 429, and in October it became the low in 318, in November 318.65, and it has more gone down in December. The alumina freight rates, the freight also played a role. The freight in January 20, in Jan, it was $30 per ton. In February, it went to 25. It was $5 minus. Again in March, it was plus 126. In June, it stood at 27. In October, 26. And in November, it was showing $25. Now we are entering to the primary aluminium overview. The global primary aluminum production trends, 24 to 2020 to 24. In 24, it was around 72.7 million. In 25, it was 73.9 million, and in 26, we are forecasting for 75.7 million. So this is our projections for the next for this year and also for the 26. And we are also expecting that in Q1 26, the price for the primary aluminum, the LME price should remain between 2,800 to 2,900 per ton, supported by an improvement in demand. And the developments in the global primary aluminum production, uh, Indonesia has already started. additional 500,000, and with the full capacity will be in the next few years or maybe in the next year. The Spanish smelter had a resumed operation after a brief power outage, but it will be targeting its full capacity by 26. Angola has a new smelter which is adding up to 120,000, but we are expecting the operations by 2025, or we can say that it's already operational testing part. Vietnam's first alumina smelter is going to commission in Q2 2026. Malaysia had had a recent accident and issue and in resumed operations and is adding 100,000 tons of capacity. New Zealand, the Ingledays, is adding 80,000 tons now, and but the further expansion remained paused due to power supply risk. Brazilian smelter continues its stage restart and is expected to add around 70,000 tons of operating capacity during 2025. So, the global aluminium smelter expansion outlook. So, the smelters are also expanding, and we can see from 2025 to 2035 in this phase why the smelters. There has been a lot of expansions news and expansions MOUs are going on. And the key points are once the Chinese capacity has capped at 45 million tons, we have seen the other regions are seizing opportunities for new projects. In Canada, we are seeing in USA, we are seeing in Colombia, we are seeing in Middle East, we are seeing in Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon, we are expecting some expansions and new projects. India, all the three major producers are expanding. In Finland, a new smelter is on a projects plan in Vietnam and also in Indonesia. So the global primary aluminum projects will be there and upcoming projects in the next 10 years from 2025 to 2035. So a lot of projects are coming up, and then we go to the India primary aluminum production overview. The Indian primary aluminum production, we have the three majors, Vedanta, Nalco, and Hindalco, and they are producing in the full capacity as of now, except Hindalco a bit down with the capacity, but the rest of them are doing as per the capacity they have in fully. So, India primary aluminum production overview, when we compare to the world versus India, it is 4.2 million versus rest of the world is 69 million tons. So, Tomago's outlook and implication for Australia's aluminium supply. So, there has been like Tomago's may face operational uncertainty beyond 2028 as energy costs are expected to increase and contract with AGL expires. So as we all know that the 40% of the cost goes for the smelter, it goes to smelter energy. So we are expecting if Tomago shuts down in 28, so we are expecting in 29-30 the Australian production supply to remain at 1.066 million tons. And if it does not stop, it continue to produce, we can see it will be the same as 1.63 million tons. However, we have also taken if it stops in 2035, if it expand, then again, if it continues beyond 2035, the production will remain the same, 1.63, as there has been no new coming up smelters or alumina refineries has been in the news or in of any MOUs has been around for Australia now. The aluminium price monthly average. The aluminium price has shown some upward movement. This we have already predicted at the beginning of the year. The H2 will show a better price. So we can see in October, November, December, the prices are up. Uh, it is at the average price has the prices in October, November is 2786, 2822, 2859. And also the key factors behind the increase in the aluminium prices are tight primary aluminium supply, Iceland smelter disruption tightening supply, low LME inventory levels in October followed a rebound in early December. Persistently high European energy costs, short-term bullish sentiment and stockpiling and market expectations and uncertainty ahead of 2026. So energy consumption in aluminium smelting then and now. So in 2004, when the world used to produce around 30 million tons of aluminium around. So at that time, the coal used to be the 48% of the energy supply. They used to the industry used to consume 48% of the coal in 2014. In 2014, when the production rose to around 50, around 57, coal the coal energy consumption rose to 58.5. However, now to 73 million tons, the coal consumption energy has dropped to 47.7 million. And we all know that China and India are the major energy consumer from the coal, but China has taken up a lot of their smelters to the regions where they can supply uh, from the hydropowers or from the green energies. So when we see, we will be putting up like the billing, the projections and the reality, what we projected at the beginning of the year for our outlook. We projected the bauxite production to be at around 450 million tons. The market reality check is 451.3 million tons expected by the end of the year. Primary aluminum price 2610 average price. So as of 2nd Jan 25 to December 22nd 2025, we see the average price is 2612. Primary aluminum production, we predicted at the beginning of the year 74.6 million tons. The actual reality check is supposed to be around 73.9 or 74 million. Alumina production, we predicted 152 million tons. The market reality check is now 152.3 to upper bound to 152.6. Smelter grade alumina production will be at 143.3 million tons we predicted at the beginning of the year, and we can see it will be around 143.3 to 143.6 million tons. So this was Circle's prediction model for the for at the beginning of the 2025, and so as we are one of the trusted reference and recognized, so for years, Circle's market intelligence forecast and industry outlooks has been trusted, and it has been from the various boardrooms to policy rooms. So we have been referenced by the Government of India Ministry of Mines in development of the vision document on aluminum smelter. So Alcircle's data and insights was referred, cited by NALCO's official financial reports as a data and insight source. So we are not limited to this too, but we have been also used by other leading aluminum producers, uh, primary and secondary, downstream producers, technology providers, consulting houses, and investors across the aluminum market. So we will be having our next session on the downstream, including the recycling on 12th December, 7 to 8 p.m. And you can share your feedback, and we can start with your Q&A sessions. If you have any questions, please.
Thank you so much, Rupankar. I would just request you to go back to the previous slide of the feedback QR and put it on the screen for a few minutes. Along with that, the floor for the Q&A is open. participants can raise their hand, unmute themselves, put their video on, and interact with the speaker. They can also put their questions in the chat box, and their questions will be addressed.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. I would like to
Good
ask,
evening.
how do you see the prices of primary aluminum going in the next quarter, January, February, and March 2026?
We are expecting it should go to around 2,800 to 2,900. That was we have predicted as of now.
Okay, okay. So it is a rising trend.
We can see it's a rising trend, but we have, as of now, we have only predicted the first quarter. But the rest we will be publishing in the next few days.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to announce certain external questions like what are the major factors to expect in the growth in the upstream sector in the year 2026, like any expectation of contribution of primary aluminium as a growth percentage in the world, or any specific country or region who will dominate the headlines of the upstream in the upcoming year. These sort of questions would not be entertained in the session. For that, we are having our upcoming report in the next year. So all your certain questions related to the 2026, particularly here, the forecast and everything is addressed over there. So anything, and one more announcement I would like to make is the deck that you have seen would be shared with all of you in the coming in the 48 hours. Any unaddressed questions will be answered over email. Also, we will share an executive copy of our Outlook report, which is free of cost to only the participants who will be attending both the sessions. As we have our next session on 12th, which is dedicated on the downstream sector, we would encourage you to attend that particular session as well to access the executive copy of our Outlook report. Okay, so I'm just reading out the questions.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest risk to supply in 2026? What
Mhm.
is the biggest demand driver for 2026? To Rupankar, if the questions related to the upcoming year, if you want to address them now, it is your call.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can address the demand driver. So demand driver definitely will be the transportation sector will be one of the demand driver, and also for the renewable energy sector will also be a demand driver. Because for the construction and the construction sector will be, mostly the residential construction is on the slow progress. So we are on to the transportation sector, and for the renewable energy sector will be a demand driver. And what would you say in the biggest risks? Definitely we can say, but that will be in our report. Uh, that is we will put up all the risks for the supply there. Then we have a question: do you update your annual data or annually or quarterly? How did you account for tariffs in your forecast? We do update our data annually and quarterly as and when required. And how do you account for tariffs? Yes, we always, when we do a forecast, we consider the tariffs. We keep a 8 to 10% always a bracket for the tariffs. Uh, Not only for the tariffs, COVID was a lesson for the whole commodity world. So we have to also consider these types of mayhem. So we always keep that consideration. Then the third question is, how do you see CBAM effects after the primary market? CBAM is there, but the primary market, the people with high carbon will face some of the issues from now onwards. But there has to be some new markets where they can sell their product. And we have a whole full chapter on CBAM on our Outlook report, which we will be launching in Jan. So you can go through that and you can find your answers there. I think I have replied all the questions here. Is there anybody else?
One more question which has been addressed to us is, do you expect the increased use of secondary aluminium having any significant impact on primary aluminium consumption in the next 5 years?
Secondary aluminum will definitely be our role player. But however, with our rapid urbanization and various other growth, I won't say that it will slow down the primary production, but secondary will play a big role, and it will be in a competitive role. However, that secondary aluminum cannot give that leverage, means it cannot fulfill all the requirements for the market demand. So in the next 5 to 10 years, still primary will be the leading in this, but secondary aluminum will play a big role.
Okay, so the next question, I would read it out. Do you expect how much percentage of India's contribution is in the primary aluminium sector?
So, you want, can you just repeat the question,
India's
please, ma'am?
percentage contribution in primary aluminium to grow as aluminium percentage of the world.
So now India only produces 4.2 million tons, our production. The consumption for primary, our total aluminium consumption is around near about to 5 million tons. And we are expecting this rise to, in the next 5 years, to reach to around 10 million tons. That's the consumption rise we are expecting in the next 5 years. Putting in the note, this consumption percentage has to also rise with our per capita GDP. If it rises to $4,000 in the next 5 years. Any more? I can see properly very well.
No, as of
Do
now,
you?
all the questions are being addressed. I would encourage the participants, if you have any question from your end, you can drop.
EGS,
Okay, so we have another question. What do you
yeah.
expect the LME price for primary ingot in the first quarter of 2026 and the MJP?
MGP price, and see, we have only given the LME price. We have first quarter, but these detailed things, MGP and other premiums, and we will be giving in our outlook report. That will be in the report. We have given the normal LME price. We have stated already for the first quarter. Any more questions?
Someone has written
Any particular
EGS.
region? Any particular region other than Europe, and you foresee driving the primary aluminum growth field? Yes. Uh, other than Europe, I think for us, we can see that the Southeast Asia region, the new market, the Southeast Asia region is on the growing mode. The South America is on a growing mode. So these are the new markets which will see the growth. Uh, Africa has a demand, but the supply is less. So but the Southeast Asia and South American, this will be emerging market, and also the Gulf region, the GCC region will also have a demand. So these are the growing markets now. So could we invest in primary aluminum stock? Please, uh, we can't advise you on investing in stock. So that is not a part for us. EGL's new project in USA is a game changer. Definitely, it will be a game changer because I think for 80 years or some years, some 6 decades, United States has not seen a new smelter. So EGL's new smelter will be a game changer for the North American market. Any more questions, please?
How is EV and renewable energy adoption is changing aluminium demand by product form, extrusion sheet, billet, wire, rod, etc.
How we, can you just repeat?
How is EV and renewable energy adoption is
Hmm.
changing the aluminium demand in product form, that is extrusion sheet, billet, wire, rod, etc.
Uh, EV is definitely EV is playing the role for the renewable energy like uh, for renewable energy the extrusions will play the role for EV the sheets extrusions and the wire rods is not there it's a they still use the copper cables are used so it is a majorly will be the extrusions and the sheets which will play the role for the EV, for the renewable energy, extrusions will be there. Yes, when we talk about the extrusion, definitely billets consumption will be there. Uh, what are the largest cost components for primary aluminum now? And how the sensitive are margins to energy price swings? Yes, we can still consider that the largest component for primary aluminum is all what has been the energy uh, even if you switch from coal to low carbon energy, the installation of the transformation of the transition is also expensive. So energy will play a big role as of now and in the future even for the primary aluminum. Any idea on which production or process, innovation, additive manufacturing, new alloys, coatings are the most commercially efficient? We can say this when we are coming up on the 12th. Please join us on the 12th. When we talk about the downstream, we will definitely discuss on that, on these alloys and coatings and additive manufacturing. How
We
has
have
the
another
bauxite
question. How have bauxite prices been in the previous months and what have influenced the trend?
So bauxite prices, see, bauxite prices are very, has been uh, changed. What I have seen for the last few years, it has changed, and the bauxite prices are much more now. Every country is having their own pricing indexes, and I will request you, please subscribe to our Outlook 2026. We will be giving you the bauxite prices. Those will be subscribed. And what influenced the trend? Definitely the demand for primary aluminum is definitely one of the major reasons for the bauxite prices to go up. How should midstream manufacturers mitigate margin pressure when aluminum prices are volatile? See, midstream manufacturers mitigate margin. See, aluminum when the prices it's not like that when the prices are up, the products are bought. It's not like that. The products are stocked, and then when the prices go up, it's on a different time. So if somebody has bought the aluminum today, it takes 2 3 months to make the product. So it is not like that. It happens. And to mitigate the margin of when the prices are volatile, they have to figure out how the market demand is doing and what are the exact new products that has been in the demand. So they have to focus on that. However, it's not possible sometimes if it is extruder, they can't go up to make up steels. So that is not a possible for them. However, they need to focus on what the actual demand in the sector they are producing and focus on that, the demanding one, instead of building what the non-demand.
Okay, so this is a call for the last questions.
Mm.
Two questions are still not answered. I will read
Yeah.
them out for you, Rupankar.
Mm.
How a CBAM will impact aluminium extruded profiles, cost, and export?
CBAM will, of course, if your extrusion is not made from a low carbon, is not made from it's made the high carbon, then definitely CBAM will be a cost, it will be a factor for it. So in that scenario, the import export, it will be not built in a difficult way. So the first of the thing we need to find the exporter has to think out how to get this extrusion material or the billets from the low carbon. Other thing is that CBAM is for the European Union market and there is also in the UK market. So the other thing is that better to find a new market until and unless the extruder who consume the raw billets from the high carbon plants, it is better to find a new markets and to sell there before that energy transition happens and they get their billets from the low carbon.
Okay, so one last question, like if somebody has joined the webinar late, so can you please summarize the webinar in 2 to 3 bullet points for them?
Yeah, this webinar is a thing that we have made of how the 2024 has been, how the 2025 has been, and how the 2025 and the beyond 2025, how the world aluminum upstream sector should look like, or it's our and we have considered all the prices in the benchmark, and this is something like how we can plan up your 2026 and for the next few years.
So, one more time, I would announce that the deck will be shared with you people within 48 hours, and all the unaddressed questions will be answered over email. Also, we will share an executive copy of our Outlook report, which is free of cost to the attendees who will attend both the sessions. We have still got some time. A question has come to us.
Yeah,
How
I can
has
read.
the rainy season affected bauxite exports and production recently?
See, rainy season is a common thing in Australia and Guinea where the bauxites are mined. So they try to mine the bauxite in the non-rainy season more, and because in the rainy season they can't, so they try. It has been a process. They have always done that. So on the non-rainy season, they mine more bauxite and exports that in a way. And in the rainy season, it's typically in few of the regions like Australia, they keep the mines off for some time. So it's not possible for them to mine the bauxite. And that is, I think every year this rain comes. So that's a planned way. It doesn't hamper us in that way.
We have one more question. which
Yeah.
says, how will the world deal with alumina surplus? Will China cut production? If yes, how much?
Uh, China has China's capacity is still with the gas, the buffering is still 10 millions. And China is, as per our market intelligence, China is not going to cut their alumina production. Uh, but the surplus will be here now. However, with the new smelters that are coming up and the expansion that has happening, maybe in the next after 3 4 years, that surplus can be adjusted. But for our market intelligence, China is not going to cut.
Yes, Mr. Vidul, you can ask your question.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry, I
Good
was a
evening.
little late. So, is
No
it
problem.
possible to get the recording of the today's session?
We will give you the presentation, I think.
Yes, the deck will be sent to all the participants within 48 hours.
Thanks.
Two
Is
more
there any
minutes
more?
are left, and I would read out the last question. If more capacity will be added, then how will surplus be addressed?
The more capacity of the surplus, the surplus is because of uh, Indonesia's production in the next 5 years for alumina can rise to 17 million tons. India's production can also go to 14 million tons of alumina. So this will be only adjusted with the new smelters that are coming up. Uh, we are aware of some of the new smelters which we can't, due to some reasons, we can't even, few we have disclosed here, which are already there in all the platforms, but few are there which are not disclosed, but we are aware of those things. So this alumina surplus will be adjusted in the next year, but at least it will take 3 to 4 years. It will not be in the next 1 year. But the surplus 2025, 2026, 27, 27, we are expecting surplus at least for these 3 years from now.
So hereby we are at the end of today's session. Thank you to all of you who have made your time and attended our first session. We are very much excited to see you people on the second day as well. And the Q&A session was fantastic. If any questions are still being unanswered, you are always welcome to put them, email to us. We will answer to all of those unanswered questions on over email. And by that, we end our first session over here. See you all on 12th of December, the same timing where we come with the downstream part. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming and joining us.